Hello everyone, here Dr. Zahid Ansari, Professor, Department of Computer Science, PA College of Engineering, Mangalore, India. In this video, with the help of a Java program, we'll demonstrate how to suspend and resume the running threads in Java multithreading. Okay, so we go to the program over here. Okay, let's say we create a new thread. We give the name to the class new thread. It implements runnable. It has two data members. One is name, string, and then the thread object T over here. Okay. Inside the constructor of new thread, we are passing the thread name and we are setting the thread name. Then we are creating the thread by calling the constructor of Java thread class, and we pass this reference to it. Okay. After that, we print the information about this new thread and then we start the thread. As we know, the start method of the thread, it invokes the run method. So what the thread does, in the run method, basically in a for loop which iterates 15 times, okay, we print the value of variable I along with the name of the thread. Okay, and in each iteration we make the thread to sleep for 200 milliseconds. So the thread which is running, it first prints its name and 15. After that it sleeps for 200 milliseconds, and then in the next iteration it prints 14, then sleeps for 200 milliseconds, like that, right? 15 times the thread will execute this. Okay. Now we have the driver class named suspend resume. In this we have the main method. So here we are creating two instances of this new thread. So basically simultaneously we are creating two threads, right? Object 1 is the thread 1, okay? Object 2 is the thread 2. So now at this point of time, as soon as we create these objects, the constructor is called and the threads, these two threads, they start running. So thread 1 and thread 2 both are start running, right? They are executing this for loop, printing the value of I, and after that they are sleeping for 200 milliseconds. Both the threads, they are doing it. Okay. So the main thread, it created these two threads. Okay. Then what we do is we make the main thread to sleep for 1 second, and after that on the thread 1, what we call the method suspend. So the thread class, it provides the method suspend. Okay, when we do this, the thread is suspended. Okay, then we print that suspending thread 1. After that again the main thread sleeps for 1 second and it makes the thread 1 resume. Okay, so during this period in between, the thread 1 was suspended, then it resumes again. So after that we suspend the thread 2. So on object 2 thread we call the method suspend. Okay, we suspend thread 2. So at this time only thread 1 is executing over here. Okay, then again we make the main thread sleep for 1 second and then we resume the thread 2 over here. Okay, so after doing this, the main thread, it waits for thread 1 and thread 2 to join, means to finish, right? After that the main thread, it exits. So if we run this, so we see the output. Okay. So we see from the beginning, the main thread it created thread 1 and thread 2. Both the threads they started executing simultaneously. So they are printing, one printed 15, two printed 15, then two printed 14, one printed 14. Both are running simultaneously. Then after that, the main thread it suspends the thread 1. Once the thread 1 is suspended, only thread 2 is printing. So it's decrementing its counter, thread 2. Then the main thread resumes thread 1. And it suspends the thread 2. Okay. So only thread 1 executes after that. Then it resumes the thread 2. Okay. So both the threads then again they started executing and they're decrementing their counter. The main thread waits for these two threads to finish. Okay. Then the two threads, once the thread 2 finishes, it exits, thread 1 exits, and after that finally the main thread exits. Okay, so this way we can use the thread class suspend and resume method to suspend and resume the thread. But these two methods, suspend and resume, they have been deprecated in Java 2. Okay, so there is a more modern approach of doing it, that we do not use this method, rather we use some other management for this. So we'll see that scheme also. Okay, so in this code, we created the same new thread class, and in this we added a Boolean data member suspend flag. Okay, suspend flag. Yeah, and when we create the thread, when we start the thread, okay, we make the suspend thread equal to false. So initially the suspend thread is false. Okay, now what we do is we provide two more methods in this. One method is mySuspend, in which we make the suspend flag equal to true, right? This. So what happens when a thread runs? When a thread runs, so basically it is executing the run method. So inside the for loop, the same for loop which iterates 15 times over here, right? And it is printing the value of I over here. Okay. So in each iteration of this for loop, we put a synchronized block over here, where the thread checks for the suspend flag. If the suspend flag is true, then then the method wait is called. This makes the thread to go into the sleep mode, and it sleeps till it is notified to wake up. Okay. So if the suspend flag is true, then the thread sleeps. In order to invoke a suspended thread, we call the method myResume, in which we set the suspend flag to false, and we notify the suspended flag to wake up so that it starts executing again. Okay. So in our driver class over here, in the main method, the main thread creates two threads, thread 1 and thread 2. The main thread sleeps for 1 second. After that, on thread 1 it calls mySuspend method. So thread 1 is suspended. Before that, both the threads they were executing simultaneously. Once the thread 1 is suspended, only thread 2 is executing. Okay. Then after 1 second, the main thread it resumes the thread 1. Okay. So now thread 1 which was sleeping, or it was suspended, it wakes up again. Now it makes the thread 2 to suspend. Okay. So after this, only thread 1 executes. After 1 second, it makes the thread 2 also to resume. Then both the threads they execute. The main thread waits for these two threads to finish, and after that the main thread exits when the other two threads they have finished their execution. Okay. So here we are not using the thread class suspend and resume methods, because they are deprecated in Java 2. Rather, we are using our own flag, suspend flag, and we have written two methods, mySuspend and myResume, to achieve the same thing. Okay, so let me run it. So running it. Okay, see, we'll see what is the output. The two threads they are created. Initially, both the threads they are running. Thread 1, thread 2, both are executing. After that, main thread it suspends the thread 1. So only thread 2 runs after that. Then it resumes thread 1 and suspends the thread 2. So after that only thread 1 runs. Then it resumes thread 2 also. Then both the threads they run. Right. The main thread waits for the threads to finish. Once thread 2 and thread 1 both finishes, then the main thread executes. Okay. So this way we can suspend and resume the threads. Thanks for watching.